back to the stadium. How will the fans be impacted on this? And I think the biggest one, and we hit on this a little bit, is the South end zone. You're going to have roughly 22,000 fans in the South that are not going to have their seats for sure in 2025. And I think you almost need to prepare for 2026.
Yeah, that's what the AD says. That's what Trev says.
So how do they make this work?
Yeah, how do they?
And somebody else I talked to said you almost got to bank on 2026 too. It's going to be, I mean, you're going to have everything go right for it just to be 1 year. Weather, supply chain, all the things that are uncontrollable.
So at some point, they're going to have to come up with a different ticketing system. That conversation is not imminent. It can't be. And I wouldn't, if I were the AD, make it imminent. Now, you push that.
I think you wait until you really have to, but you have students in the South.
Okay.
You can't not have students at games. So the students are going to be taking, I mean, if you didn't take care of the students,
you need the band and the students taken care of.
So like they're going to be shipped
in the South.
They're going to have to probably sit in the East somewhere
like that.
And if I'm just guessing, the ticket pool that's probably going to get cut out first is faculty and staff. I mean, you have thousands and thousands of tickets that don't have donations that go to faculty and staff.
Is that thousands and thousands?
Yes.
Is it? Okay.
I mean, literally the whole East Side, a lot of that is faculty, staff. I mean, there's a lot of, so I would imagine that's going to be where a hit comes to try to relocate some people and the students in the band. But you cannot not have 22,000 people all not paying. I mean, you have to figure out a way to get some of them in that have donations and whatnot, because you don't want to lose that money.
Do you understand how challenging this will be for an AD, and how many very unpleasant emails Trev will receive during this process?
Every email will start out, my family has had tickets for 50 years. My family has had tickets in their name for 4 generations. Yep. We're no longer going to keep our tickets. We're really upset. I mean, that will be a lot of the emails Trev has to deal with. Mm-hmm. And it won't be pretty, but
no, not all of them. They won't. Some of them won't be very pretty at all.
But
some people will be fine.
So, I mean, but if you're like Trevor, like, what am I going to do? Not tear down and do this project because your tickets,
right?
I mean, it will be really, really difficult. Especially for possibly 2 years.
Right. The reorganization process will be very challenging, and he'll have to say no to a lot of people. Sean, ADs have to say no. ADs often are pretty unpopular. They are, because you know why? Somebody has to say no at sometimes. Sometimes people have to say no to fans, and an AD is usually the one doing it.
Well, they've really had to squeeze it hard, though, to fill the South and the back of the North lately.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you would hope that there's maybe 3,000 or 5,000 seats a year that they're just squeezing like hell to fill, whether it's companies buying them up or different ticket packages or whatnot. And maybe you figure out a way like, okay, we can't service everybody in the South with full season ticket packages. We've been able to figure out 6,000 seats, and each person will get 2 games. And, you know, they'll kind of pair games together. I mean, I think you're gonna have to do something like that.
Yeah.
Where maybe you figure out a way to pair games together in seats that you relocate and move, and everybody will at least still get a few seats. Because I don't think you want to go potentially 2 full years of leaving key people out in the cold.
Oh God, you may not get some of them back.
No.
It's going to be really interesting.
Well, and I have a really good friend who knows the ticket industry well, and I mean, what he thinks will end up happening, it will be a reseat. And so what will happen
I call it a reorganization, but a reseat is better.
The grandfathering will be done.
Oh boy.
And they have to get rid of it. I mean, Nebraska is the only place in the world that has this many grandfathered seats where like your prices from like 1980 are still the same price.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Little bit's changed since that time, and they have to kind of clean that up. I mean, Steve Rosen, who does business writing for us, broke that down. And Nebraska was the only stadium anywhere that had the number of grandfather. I mean, we're talking 20 to 30,000 people with grandfather locked in pricing.
This is going to get interesting.
And other places that we talked to might have a couple hundred.
How far away are we from that discussion?
Probably the winter of 20, or
2024.
The off season of 2024, after the 2024 season,
That's what I figured.
I think you have to figure it out and, figure that list out and squeeze it out a little bit.
Is there any reason you'd have to do it before? I don't think there is any reason before then.
Yeah, I think
we're not ADs, Sean.
You weigh everything out, but then like what you'd probably have to do is use it priority points. So the reseeding would probably be based on your priority points, and the people with more points would pick first, and then they would get to decide what they want to pay, where they want to sit.
Okay. Wow.
And on down the line.
Wow.
But
wow, this is a wow moment.
I mean, the other thing about this is if you're taking the stadium down from 86 to 75, but you still want to make the same amount of money, right? They're not doing this to make less money, Steve Sipple.
No, you can't. You can't. Yeah. So what are you suggesting? Higher ticket prices.
So there's going to be, it's going to be, some will be good, some will be high. Like, I mean, it will be very expensive. I mean, there's going to be a lot of premium options though. And I do think people want premium options. Not everybody.
When you say premium option, what do you mean by
club, amenity access, restaurant, loge, box?
Yeah.
One of the things he said, like they're looking at potential field level boxes. Just like other things.
Which they have at other stadiums.
He wouldn't commit to the number of sky boxes they have. And when I wrote my book 10 years ago, they were at 102, I think.
102 sky boxes.
And there might be a couple more they've added, though, on level 6. So it might be like 105 now. But at that time, and I believe it's still the same, they had by far the most boxes in the Big Ten. They had more than Ohio State and Michigan.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So,
Sean, there's going to be many, many conversations to be had before 2025 when it comes to this.
Yeah, it will be Trev's got a lot of meetings.
Gosh, yeah, as far as Trev goes, this will largely define his tenure, I would think. Right?
Because the fans in the stadium are the biggest thing this place has.
Yeah.
And that's why it's here. That's why we're here. That's why Matt Rule's making what he's making. It's the fans in that stadium.
And I'll tell you something. Matt Rule this is not his purview at all. But the quality of Nebraska's football program it's big in this. It's important in this conversation. It is. It will be going forward. I mean, you can't just expect that fans will keep putting up with mediocre football. At some point, they're not going to. You'll see an effect if that continues to happen. Again, that's not really Rule's concern. He can't. That's not why he does what he does. But that's in the ADs. That's got to be in the back of his boss's mind, and not even too far back in his mind.